Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to our lecturer, Dr. Nur Asia, and my dear friends. This morning we will present our presentation, which is a system. Before we go further in this topic, I will introduce myself and my group members. My name is Aiman Hakim Ibn Faizi. My group members are Siti Nur Aisha, Nur Mashita, Sheikh Yashivani, Nur Atira, Nurul Azrina, Redatul Jannah. So, we go to the introduction. First, we need to know the term of a system. A system, it refers to the Earth's interacting physical, chemical, and biological processes. And the Earth system consists of the land, oceans, atmospheres, and pools. The system is itself an integrated system, but it can subdivide into four main components or spheres, which is geospheres, atmospheres, hydrospheres, and biosphere. These components are also systems in their own right, and they are tightly interconnected. The system now includes human society. Our social and economic system are now embedded within the Earth system. So in many cases, the human system are now the main driver of the change in the Earth system. Okay, I will pass to my friend to present another subtopic. Thank you.
Okay, next, I am going to explain more on biosphere. First, it is one of the main subsystems of the Earth, also known as ecosphere, layers on planet Earth where life exists. A global biosphere ecosystem is created by the interaction of organic matter in the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. The layer receives sunlight, which contains water, energy, and moderate temperature. The upper geosphere, the hydrosphere, and the lowest portion of the atmosphere are all included. The term biosphere was coined by geologist Edward Suess in 1875, which he defined as the place on Earth's surface where life dwells. The biosphere is defined as the zone where both living organisms and the product of their activities are found. So it plays an important role to maintain the ecosystem, that is the life of organisms and their mutual interactions. And biosphere is very important to regulate the climate. A biosphere is intended to fulfill these complementary and mutually reinforcing functions. First, conservation, to contribute to conservation of landscape, ecosystem, species, and genetic variation. Second, development, to sustain economic and human development. And on my next slide, there are some pictures that I have put to help visualize more about biosphere. For example, parts that make up the biosphere such as lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere. That's all from me. Thank you.
Now I will explain about hydrosphere. What is hydrosphere? Hydrosphere is a liquid component of Earth and covering about 70% of the Earth's surface. Around 97% of this water is seas and oceans like marine water, and remaining 3% is fresh water. Marine water has small amounts of dissolved salts, while fresh water contains less amount of dissolved salts and fit for drinking. 69% of freshwater is locked in glaciers and ice caps, 30% underground water, and 1% located in rivers and lakes. Hydrosphere can be liquid, vapor, or solid. Liquid water exists on the surface in the form of oceans, lakes, and rivers. Water vapor is most visible as clouds and fog, and water present in solid form in glaciers, ice caps, and icebergs. Hydrosphere is formed from volcanic activity, meteorite impacts, and ice comets. Now we move to hydrological cycle. Hydrological cycle is movement of water around atmosphere, sea, and ground in a cycle. There are 6 stages in hydrological cycle like evaporation, transpiration, condensation, precipitation, surface runoff, and subsurface runoff. The first is evaporation. Evaporation is process water become water vapor, which is gas. Water vaporizes from surface of oceans, lakes, surface of land, and from melts in snowfield. Second is transpiration. Transpiration is process in which some water within plants evaporates into atmosphere. Water usually absorbed by plants' root, then exists by evaporating through pores in plants. There is condensation. Condensation is process water vapor in the air turns into liquid water and condensing water forms clouds in the sky. The fourth is precipitation. Precipitation is process in which water in form of rain or snow fall from clouds in the sky. Fifth is surface runoff. Surface runoff is process of rain, snow mist or water that flow in surface streams, rivers or canals. The last is subsurface runoff. Subsurface runoff is process which is rain, snow mist or water that flows in underground streams, drains or sewers. That's all from me. I invite next person to continue this presentation.
The next part is geosphere. It refers to the solid parts of the Earth. It is also known as lithosphere, which refers to all of the rocks of the Earth. The rocks, minerals, and landforms of the surface and interior includes everything natural and lifeless that make up the surface of the Earth. The rocks and sand particles make up the mountains, minerals, lava, and molten magma as examples. There are three main chemical sections in the cross-section of the Earth, which are the crust, the mantle, and the core. For the crust, which is the very surface of the Earth, composed almost entirely of light elements, the main component of the crust is mainly is oxygen, so it is quite light. The next one is the mantle. The mantle actually covers the 68% of the Earth's mass. And finally, the core that also have two layers to it, which is the inner and outer. And they are considered as the innermost layer of the Earth, and they are composed of very dense elements such as nickel and iron. So here is the Earth's cross section. As you can see there is a very significant distance between the surface or the crust of the Earth to the inner core. It is estimated to be around 6,370 kilometers. And through this visualization, it shows that the Earth is very big and it is made up of very hot elements. That is all from me. Thank you very much.
Next, I will be explaining about the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the gaseous component above the surface of the Earth. This sphere is also a fluid sphere. There is one other fluid sphere, and that is the hydrosphere. The atmosphere is made up of gases and tiny water particles. The gases surrounding the Earth are kept in place by the force of gravity. The atmosphere is a mixture of gases. One of these gases is nitrogen. Nitrogen makes up 78% of the atmosphere, while oxygen makes up 21% of the atmosphere. There is also argon, carbon dioxide, and aerosols. Aerosols are particles such as dust, pollen, ash, and smoke. These gases are very important to life on Earth because plants and animals depend on them to live. The atmosphere is sustained by energy from the sun. When the sun shines, heat is radiated to the Earth's surface and reflected back into the atmosphere. The heat also warms the surface of the Earth and causes evaporation, thereby sending moisture into the atmosphere. Thunderstorms, hurricanes, lightning, and tornadoes are all processes of the atmosphere. This slide illustrates how the layers of the atmosphere, including the range of temperature in each atmosphere. The troposphere is the layer closest to the surface. It extends about 10 kilometers above sea level. Humans and plants live in this layer. Airplanes and birds also fly in this layer. As the layers go higher, the air becomes thinner. The other layers include the stratosphere, 50 kilometers above sea level, mesosphere, which is 85 kilometers above sea level, and the thermosphere, which is 500 kilometers above sea level, and exosphere. Beyond the exosphere is space.
So next we continue to the interaction between the sphere. So all systems are interdependent. The spheres are closely connected, interfacing, overlapping that often result in changes or one or more of the other sphere. So the changes that take place within an ecosystem are called an event. Events can occur naturally, such as earthquake or hurricane, but they can also be caused by human, which is oil spill or air pollution. An event can cause changes to occur in one or more of the sphere. This two-way cause and effect relationship between an event and a sphere are called an interaction. So, how does the Earth's sphere interact with each other? First, by exchange of matter. The example here are water cycle. Water evaporates into the atmosphere, then condense to form the clouds. Next, nitrogen cycle. Bacteria release nitrogen into the soil from the atmosphere, then plant will use the nitrogen to grow. Second, by exchange of energy. So energy moves back and forth between the sphere. So plants use solar energy to make food. Animals also eat the plants for energy. So if you don't understand, so here are the examples of the system interaction. Both of these examples are the interaction for the four types of sphere together. So first, hurricanes swept across the ocean and onto the land, damaging the dwellings of the people who live along the coast. Second, rocks eroded by rain and wind. The rocks are broken down into the mineral which are then be used by plants and also animals. These are the interactions that occur between the atmosphere, hydrosphere, geosphere, and also biosphere. Here are the examples of the interaction that occur. First, we see that energy from the sun is stored by plant. When human or animal eat the plant, they will acquire the energy that originally stored by the plants. This is the interaction that occur between the same sphere, which is biosphere. Next, humans use farm machinery manufactured from the geosphere material to plow the fields, and the atmosphere will then bring the precipitation to water the plants. These are the interactions that cause an event that occur by human. So there are other examples of interaction here, as you can see, but basically the interaction that happen between one or more of the sphere will cause an event to occur, whether naturally or through the human. Thank you.
I will continue with conclusion. So in conclusion, Earth system examine the Earth as interconnected set of sphere, including geosphere, which is rock and land, atmosphere, which is air, weather, hydrosphere, which is water, ice, and biosphere, which is plant and animal, as well as their interaction with the exosphere, which is sun and space. There are four main components of the Earth system may be described briefly in the following way, which is the first one is the geosphere. This is the part of the planet composed of rocks and minerals. It includes the solid crust, the molten mantle, and the liquid and solid part of the Earth's core. In many places, the geosphere develops a layer of soil in which nutrients become available to living organisms, and which thus provide an important ecological habitat. The second one is the atmosphere. The atmosphere is the gaseous layer surrounding the Earth and held its surface by gravity. The atmosphere receives energy from solar radiation, which warm the Earth's surface and re-emit and conduct to the atmosphere. The atmosphere also absorbs water from the Earth's surface via the process of evaporation. It then acts to redistribute heat and moisture across the Earth's surface. In addition, the atmosphere contains substances that are essential for life, including carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. So the third one is the biosphere. This contains all living organisms, and it is intimately related to the other three spheres. Most living organisms require gases from the atmosphere, water from the hydrosphere, and nutrients and minerals from the geosphere. Living organisms also require a medium for life and are adapted to inhabit one or more of other three space spheres. So the fourth one is the hydrosphere, which is consists of those parts of the Earth system composed of water in its liquid, gaseous, which is vapor, and solid, which is ice phase. The hydrosphere includes the Earth's ocean and sea, its ice sheet, sea ice, and glaciers, its lake, rivers, and streams, its atmospheric moisture and ice crystal, and its area of permafrost. The hydrosphere includes both saltwater and freshwater system, and it also includes the moisture found in the soil, which is soil water, and within rock, which is groundwater. It's in some classification, the hydrosphere is subdivided into the fluid water system and the cryosphere, which is the ice system. And the last one, the main component of the Earth system are interconnected by flow of energy and material. The most important flow in the Earth system are those concerned with the transfer of energy. So that's all for our presentation. Thank you for hearing.